for joining us. My name is Judy Fox, and I serve as the Program Manager for the Los Angeles Regional Consortium, also known as LARC, which represents 19 community colleges across the Los Angeles region. I also have the pleasure of co-leading the LARC AI Task Force with Chair and Assistant Vice President of LARC, Dr. Narne McKeegan. Today's AI professional development session, Tools for Educators, AI in Business and Entrepreneurship Careers, is made possible through our partnership with the Los Angeles County Office of Education, also known as LACO, and the coordination and vision of LARC's AI Task Force. This collaborative work has resulted in now 35 AI professional development opportunities made available for all of you well into 2026. Leading today's session is Eduvator's Technical Director, Dr. Raina Walsinger, and Managing Director, Marcy Drummond. This is a very timely session to align with Global Entrepreneurship Week next week. And the goal of today's presentation is to help you gain experience with AI-powered tools and discover approaches to bring this technology into the classroom, strengthening learning and preparing students for today's opportunities. And before we launch into it, we're excited to share that you will find today's professional development session and more in the LARC AI Learning Library. We'll drop the link in the chat, and with that, I turn it over to our friends and AI subject matter experts from Eduvators to get today's professional development started.
Sounds great. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dr. Raina Walsinger, and it's great to be here again talking about one of the larger fields that AI is integrating into our colleges and into our work in business and entrepreneurship. So really excited to deliver this today, and I'll hand it to Marcy.
Good morning, everybody. I want to echo, it helps if we get to the first slide here. I'd like to echo Raina's comments and also to thank LARC for inviting us to come today to present to you this presentation that we're going to be doing. And it is timely. I'm going to announce in a minute that McKinsey and Company came out with a brand new study that was released today. So it couldn't even be more timely, I think, about the use of AI and their annual survey that they do. So let's introduce ourselves a little bit before we begin. Go ahead, Raina.
So as you can see, I'm a superhero in the Matrix. So I'm a digital media professor, biomedical engineer, musician, basically super tech nerd, and I've been teaching for about 25 years in the community college system, teaching classes now in AI and technology. And I'm super obsessed with learning what's going on with AI and how it's integrating our lives. Also, just to follow on what's going on today is ChatGPT, the new version got released this morning, and the agents are crazy. So I've been making them all morning. Go ahead.
And I too have, I actually started off in management information systems at a very small company at the time called Microsoft. And this industry, as you know, has evolved greatly since. I won't tell you the date that I was doing that, but if you knew Microsoft was small, you know that was a long time ago. And then I went into higher education and have had various roles throughout my career in higher ed and particularly in community colleges. So both Raina and I bring teaching experience in the system as well as administrative experience. So we can sort of answer questions from all sorts of different directions and different roles that you may be playing in your particular college or organization, your school. I want to quickly share in the chat some resource, we're going to be sharing a lot of resources today. Let me find the chat window. Sorry, I lost my controls. And we have them all in a shared G drive. So I'm going to be putting the links to both the PowerPoint deck as well as the G drive itself. So that you don't have to worry about copying and pasting things or taking pictures of the PowerPoint deck. Everything is here that we're going to be covering today that you may need. Okay, let's go back to the deck. All right, so our goal for today's workshop is to talk about the skills that students need from the student perspective, skills that you need as an instructor and also as a subject matter expert in business and entrepreneurship, how we can prepare students for the AI changes that are coming in this pathway. And we're going to be doing a lot of hands-on activities and demonstrations. So, as I said, McKinsey came out with, I think we all know that the AI skills are here and that they're needed now. And many companies, actually, it sets our students up to be competitive because many people who are that are hiring, especially in the business and entrepreneurship pathway, are actually asking for people to have AI skills. But I think that last bullet point is really important. Employers still in hiring are prizing problem solving, teamwork, and communication. But there is an expectation now that new employees will be using AI to help them do those particularly those three functions faster, better than ever before. What does this mean? It means that everybody has to have what's called AI ready skills. And what does that mean? That means that people are really looking for in these four.
Oh, you froze, Marcy. So I'll continue with that till Marcy comes back. Oh, there you go. You're back.
Oh, sorry, was I gone?
You were gone for 15 seconds.
Uh-oh. Okay, let me go back. Let me go back.
Yeah, we got this one. It's the next one.
Okay. So the AI skills that employers are looking for, when they say they're looking for an AI ready person, this is really what they're talking about, the bare minimum sort of core skills that they are expecting, which is AI literacy, which is really understanding how AI works, what its limitations are, biases, basic concepts, how to write good prompts to get good output, knowing how to use the content and the output that they do get from AI and know what some of the problems might be with that output and how to manipulate it in a way to get the outcomes they're looking for. They want people to be able to do some certain data fundamentals like data analysis using AI tools, ethics and governance around bias and privacy and fairness issues. And then last but not least, ensuring that there's a lot of quality control. AI is getting better and better and better, but it still isn't quite there. So there always needs to be human oversight and interaction and editing, and it's still AI working together with humans to get the outputs that we're looking for. Did you want to add anything here?
I did, because I just had a recent conversation with my friends at Google and here in Los Angeles, and they were saying that, like I was asking about writing, and they said, they definitely get tested all the time for critical thinking, problem solving, and communication within the realm of, writing and writing properly with the help of AI. So they're still completely responsible for critical thinking and communication properly. So that's how, that's how this all goes together. So AI is not taking over what we're teaching, because you still need those core skills to succeed in, especially a place like Google, but in the workplace.
In particular, in business, again, this is from 2024. We know that AI is transforming business operations. At this point, 56% of companies were actually using AI to do that. Customer service is a huge area that's being revolutionized by AI. And like I said, McKinsey came out with their annual report this year. So I was just glancing at it this morning, and some recent studies that said that businesses weren't getting the uptake of AI that they thought they would, but I think this study that McKinsey released debunks that a little bit. And the usage rates are much higher than I thought they would be at this point in time. So
Yeah, I actually noticed the customer service, like chatbots, are actually getting better. So they're asking better questions and getting better answers. They can take order numbers and things before you get to an agent if you need one. So actually, they're good enough that some of those questions are answered without agents now. So that's a kind of a change that I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think it's a function of both AI, the underlying AI systems are definitely getting better, but I think the people who are using them to program them and create these chatbots are also getting better at doing that. So I think that's one of the reasons we're really excited about what's happening in AI. So we'd like to start with a poll, and if you could type an A, B, C, or D in the chat as to which one this applies to you. How much are you using AI in your work to help you? So this is great. We have mostly C's and D's, so some to significantly. I would say, we ask this question frequently in workshops, and it's definitely changed from A's and B's now to C's and D's. This is helpful for us too, because we have some resources that we provided that take you all the way from A to D. So we won't focus as much on the A, B sort of resources, and we'll dive more into the use cases and examples that would work mostly for people who use it some to significantly.
So
Go ahead, Rena.
yeah, so I thought I'd take this one. I made this
Sure.
little picture in Midjourney yesterday, but it's one of the image ones that I love, and I really got into AI a lot in the last year and a half in teaching. I mean, I was doing it in industry all this time, but in teaching it helps a lot, especially in CTE classes or classes where you're responsible totally for the curriculum, and the curriculum is changing really fast. And so it goes back to, I think this is important, that that when we make these classes, that we don't talk about the software, we make it very open so that we can transform modules or add pages to modules even right before you teach, and that's what I do now. And AI definitely helps me with that. If you can imagine, it probably took me 3 months minimal to do everything, 18-week accessible modules for each class. And then now, things start changing pretty fast in the things that I teach, which is around AI and technology. So you can get ideas, you can get tables, and then once you put them in Canvas or whatever LMS you're using, you can make sure it's all accessible. So I add a lot of challenges in there for students, a lot more reflections, longer discussions, a lot more visual content. So it gives me more time to actually update and keep everything current and create challenging information.
I would say probably the biggest bonus for me is the differentiated instruction. So oftentimes, you create a lesson in one lesson and it's meant for the range of students that you have. And it was very difficult and time consuming to try to come up with alternative ways of presenting information or alternative ways that would work for certain learning styles. And so I think that's one of the biggest benefits I've seen, besides what Rena said, for using AI for teaching, is the ability to differentiate instruction almost, and it says instantly, it's practically is instantly.
In fact, the language is really helping. So I had my students also change, most of them have iPhones, change their iPhones to do dual languages. And so we can communicate with each other in dual languages all the time as well. So it's super useful.
So these are the core, these are tools you're going to see several times throughout our presentation, and we're actually going to demo them and have you working with some of them. But these are what are there, 6 here? The core 6 that probably Rena and I work with almost on a daily basis. And we use them for different reasons. You want to start with ChatGPT and Google, and then I'll take Claude.
Yeah, so ChatGPT actually updated today, and it's been kind of the most used one out there. It's not the best at everything, but actually the new agents are kind of blowing me away. But it's usually where I create a lot of materials that are like text-based things, asking questions, asking students use it for brainstorming a lot, by the way, like topic sentences, ideas. In fact, we just used it with my UCSD students brainstorming a new 3D 360 project, and they were totally stuck. And I said, just ask it. So, and then Gemini, Google's got the best protocol for sharing, because they're kind of going off of the way they share from Google Drive. And they're very generous with their sharing. You can share things that you make with anybody. So you can even put links in Canvas, get embed codes, all of that. It's also the best. It kind of gives you a lot of power with the API. So you can make games. You can interact with Google Maps, which is really powerful for a lot of applications, with drawing tools that they have. And they already have a whole bunch of applications and all of the code to start from for a lot of that stuff. And it's also, because it connects to YouTube, it's better at bringing in videos and things. Claude is my favorite coder, most people's favorite coder. When you're making things that look nice, have a new UI, UX, it works really well. It does have less tokens than the others, so you have to be careful. It might put you in kind of timeout till the next day sometimes, which it does to me. But it's amazing for learning materials, interactive things, games, all things like that. Copilot is, we all have Copilot, most of us from the school, and it's got the most secure platform, so everything stays within your platform. You can look at data from your OneDrive, look at all your emails and Outlook, and Copilot will help you with asking questions from any of those sources. Perplexity is my favorite for kind of news articles and research. So you can have it get citations and bring up all kinds of articles, and it'll also add on all the images, videos, and everything related to that subject. So, and it gives you every citation available, and it seems to be very accurate with that. And then Notebook LM is one that I think we're getting here in our system from Google, which creates materials based on the subject and the articles and videos that you bring into the project.
As you all probably well know, all of these tools offer a free version, and the good news is that you can do quite a bit with the free version. Occasionally, like with Claude, I will upgrade if I have a big project I want to work on. So I just was working on it ended up being a 100-page significant research study, and Claude was able to handle creating a lot of long form content. Usually they'll time out and you'll just get a little bit of output, but with Claude, I was getting, it was writing almost complete chapters of things for me. It also was doing great at fact checking. So I was creating stuff in ChatGPT and pulling it into Claude and asking it to fact check. And but I definitely needed the paid version given the complexity of the project that I was working on. So probably like Rena, I use all of these almost every day, but then I go back and forth between which one I'll use a paid version on, depending on the project that I'm using it for. So we have this 5-minute starter kit. It's really to get you started using. So if there's some of these tools you've never used, like Notebook, you might want to take a look at this because it helps you set up your account and gives you the URLs to sign into. But this is really meant for people who would have said that they were an A and B in our first survey about just starting to use AI. But it is in the G Drive, the whole starter kit, and it may be something you want to share with one of your colleagues. And then in that kit, we talk about this universal formula that can help you streamline using AI for teaching. Just pop in there what you're teaching, what level, and ask it a question about a specific task to help you with. Shall we skip this since it seems like everybody's been using ChatGPT?
I think so.
Okay. Is there anybody who really wants to do this right now? We can take time to do that. But if I don't see any thumbs up, we'll just keep moving on. All right. We have some more resources in the G Drive. We have what we call AI power moves that walk you through step by step. I think that what we have in there is Notebook LM is in there. So if you haven't used that, I suggest you take a look at that. But then we have pathway specific prompts. So we took every discipline that typically is represented in your pathway, and we have specific prompts in there that you can use to create various teaching and learning materials. We also have some sample syllabi policies if you don't already have one about AI use. And then we have a link to this tool called our Prompters Playbook. So it's just at a glance, how to create great prompts. And there's actually some useful tips in there. I like to go back and look at it myself, even though I've been writing prompts for a long time, that help you get a little more creative results. So we do want to show you Notebook LM really quickly. Let me go over there because some of you may not. If you want to put in the chat, it'd be helpful to know how many of you are already familiar with Notebook LM, if you've used it before. We're not going to go into how to use it. Are you still seeing my screen? Are you seeing Notebook LM?
Yeah, the psychology lesson.
Yeah. So just briefly, it's a very powerful tool. I absolutely love it for creating instructional materials. Basically, you upload your own resources. This is the beauty of Notebook LM, and it will only create over here and answer questions related to the resources that you've selected for it to be. Basically, you're training it to only focus on these resources. And you can upload them or you can search on the web for resources. The beautiful thing is you can put all kinds of things in here, including YouTube videos, all kinds of, Excel spreadsheets. There's all kinds of different types of documents you can put in here. And then there's these tools over here where you start automatically creating learning assets. So there's videos, there's audio overview. Let me just quickly show you this, go into one of these. So when you click on the pencil, that's your opportunity to customize what you want it to build. So in this case, we can either choose an explainer video or a brief video, the style that you want it to use. And down here, you can give it a specific prompt. If there's a subject or a chapter in your textbook that you've uploaded that you want it to focus on, you can do that. And then as Rena said, sharing is really easy. You can either provide a link or you can download it and upload it into your course syllabus. So if you haven't used Notebook, this is a great tool, particularly for creating teaching and learning materials that you want to use in your class.
Yeah, so there's a question of, is the videos are closed captioned? I think they're.
No, they are not. But the nice thing about that is one limitation of Notebook LM is that the panels itself, what you're seeing on the screen, will not be able to be seen by a screen reader. So we don't recommend just giving a link to your students to the notebook if you have anybody in your course that needs those accessibility. But you can download the video, pull it into Gemini, and ask it to create a transcript, and it will do it flawlessly. Same thing with the audio, and you can ask it to help you design an alternative guide or report or anything that needs to be accessible. It can do it really quickly. If there's time at the end, I'll show you how to do that. Anything you wanted to add about Notebook?
Yeah, just that the pencils, are super. They're a newer feature, are really powerful to really get the type of content that you want. So if you don't press the pencil, it's just going to do whatever it wants. So this way you can customize it for the output that you want. It has all the languages. That's where all the secret power is in those pencils.
You can see that the mind map is the one object that you cannot, there's no pencil. So it'll just create one for all the content that you have loaded over here. It'll use all those resources to create a mind map. But in reports, you don't see a pencil. Where you get the customization is in the reports function itself. You'll start to see the pencils show up here. It will always gives you these sort of standard format for creating a report or a document. It also looks at your resources, and depending on the resources you've uploaded, it'll give you some more suggestive formats, but you can always create your own and put in your own prompt as to what type of document you'd like it to create. Even though this is called reports, don't get stuck in your mind that what it's creating is a quote unquote report. It'll do checklists, all kinds of any type of document that you're interested in.
The other cool thing I like it is when something you create could become a source. So under the three dots, like if you created the best little explainer thing in the world and you want it to be part of your sources, it'll send it over there if you tell it to.
Yes. Yep. Okay. That's Notebook LM. Let's go back to our presentation. And I put in the deck a link to the psychology course. So if you want to go in there and start looking at all the different things it's created, you can do that. All right, now we have another poll. To what extent are you encouraging students to use AI in your course or courses? Oops.
Does what you could create become OER and do you get credit for it? That's a good question. It can be.
Yes, it can be. The notebook allows you to use any of these materials because they're not considered copyrighted. So yes, you could download them and turn them into OER. At this point in time, that's the law. The law may change, so about reusing resources that are created by AI. So we have, again, not surprising for this group, considering the topics that you teach. So we're mostly 3s and 4s that you are allowing and actually creating assignments for students. Sorry, didn't want to do that. So mostly AI integrated and AI encouraged. So that's fantastic.
I just want to say one comment is for me, there's always, and probably for everyone here, there's always a couple students who are like, not worrying about the safety and not wanting to use it. And so those are issues that we're definitely dealing with students and trying to explain the safe uses of AI and when things that aren't as safe and the agentic browsers and things that people are afraid of because there's still some safety issues with some of that stuff.
Yeah, the only thing I would add here is that even if they're allowed to use them in classes, students still have a lot of apprehension around AI use. Even if, because it varies from course to course, what they can and can't do. So even though you may be very clear and explicit about the use in their course, they still have quite a bit of confusion about how it can be used and without any jeopardizing their grades. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So back to now we're getting into what students need to do. So we started off with what businesses expect. And so these are skills that should be taught throughout the institution around AI literacy, prompt crafting, fluency, data fundamentals, ethics and governance, and verification and quality. So same thing applies that we talked about before with the expectations of employees. Did you want to say anything here, Rena?
Yeah, I did notice one little difference in the way we're kind of teaching and the way that people are using in the industry is, the young workforce all has all these on their phone. And so they run around and, when they're slacking each other everywhere, they're on Gemini and other things like doing things on their phone. So I'm kind of learning as an instructor to be able to cast your phone and show how all of that works. Because that's like a workforce skill that's new. And it's a little bit tricky because Zoom changed the way you share your phone. There's a different thing you have to press, so it's different than sharing your workspace here. But yeah.
Very good point. So we did put together a guide for using AI with students, and it includes in there our actual scenarios of a student using AI. What's a good example? What's a bad example? We've customized these so that they're relevant to your disciplines, but there's also some ready-to-use resources that you can give to your students. We have some sample syllabus policies, some academic integrity guidelines, some tips and tricks for students' responsible AI use. And you'll find it in the workshop G Drive folder under student AI use. So even though you are maybe using it with students, there may be some nuggets in this document that you find useful to integrate into your courses. This is a good prompt that's actually in that resource to help students actually use AI for their learning. And so instead of AI doing the work for them, it's better for them to use a prompt that explains what they're working on, where they got stuck, what they've already tried, what their why they think maybe they're stuck, or what their theory is behind what they've tried hasn't worked, and then end with, what specifically do they want the AI assistant to help them with? So, do you want to talk about the learning modes?
Oh yeah. So I just popped into what you meant. Okay,
Yeah.
so in Gemini and ChatGPT, they both have the ability to you have to click another button on there to learn or study, or they're all called something similar. And it, instead of giving you answers, it gives you more questions. So you can say, explain to me like, this quadratic equation, then it'll start asking you about different parts of the equation instead of just giving you an answer and then asking on this example, and what do you think about the numerator and whatever. And so it goes through like Conmigo does and does that kind of critical thinking instead of just giving you an answer. So the idea is that students learn the theory of what they're asking about and not just the answers, and that they could go back and explain it. So they've all gone to a learn mode, or learn or study, or one of those types of things. And Gemini and ChatGPT seem to have the best versions of those right now.
Yeah, and it seems like they followed a similar pattern to this prompt that you're seeing right here. And I've actually used this prompt myself for my own learning. So it's a good sort of universal prompt to start if you're.
But yeah, I did want to say one thing about that because I've learned from some other university professors, again, at UCSD. So, and because students were working on business cases in AI, and they tend to just like start prompting and making stuff. So now the professors there got together with industry, and they have, and maybe I'll give you a post of it, a whole like matrix of other things to think about. So they're not just stuck in AI, like who's your market going to be and who's your resources and what do you know, all kinds of other questions. So they get out of that just AI world and think about the real world and the workplace and what they're doing, which I think that applies to almost any class. And I always say we need to expand our thinking on our lessons and assessments so that, you know, students have to think kind of outside the box and not just rely on AI.
We have a whole slew of resources for students. So we have a guide for them on how to do AI prompting, a flow chart of when they, when it's appropriate for them to use AI and when not to. We have something called our stoplight guidance. It's sort of color coded like a stoplight, red, green, and yellow, along with guidance on how they cite the use of AI, given if it's red is not used, so you wouldn't use citations, but it goes through the different types of citations you would use depending on whether or not it's a yellow type activity or a green one. We have 2 free courses, and these seem to be very, very popular. So we have a lot of instructors who are either requiring students to take these courses or using them for extra credit. We have Getting Started for AI for Students that goes through some of the basic AI tools like ChatGPT. But then the AI information literacy one goes in depth about the biases and hallucinations that they get, how to work with AI, how to reference them, how to document their use of AI. So that one goes more into responsible use for students. All right, now let's get down to business. We've done some research on what are the top AI skills that are being requested in job postings and labor market data. And these are the cross-cutting skills that basically cross-cut all disciplines in the business and entrepreneurship pathway. Very similar to some of the ones you saw in the very beginning, where at the top we have problem solving and communication, which were at the ones that we said that employers still value greatly. These are core skills. They're not necessarily AI specific skills, but there is some expectations that people are using AI to do, to do problem solving and technical communication faster and better.
Yeah, I love this slide because we were forced to do this in the last 2 jobs I had, and the last one being an XR AI company. So one of the pain points in those companies with developing software is documentation of software, and it was always like the last job nobody wanted to do, no matter what company I worked at. And so now AI has really changed that. So it's documenting their coding along the way, and then being able to make documentation that's customer facing based on that. So that's a fantastic improvement. Customer success, here's customer service, but customer success, also a huge change so that you can get information faster and what you want to customers that are asking a lot of questions. And it's usually an under-resourced area for the company. And so it's so that you can receive information and get it back out there. We use tools like Zendesk and things to get all of those kind of tickets in there, but now we can respond a lot better. And so those are a couple of ones I just wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and then that spit it out, Marcy. More recently, I've been using it for data analysis more and more. I was using it for data analysis about 6 months ago, and I was really disillusioned a little bit because I was getting a lot of hallucinations and I was spending as much time trying to fix what I was getting. But I've been using it lately for that, and it's still not 100% there, but I'd say it's 98 to 99% accurate at this point in time. So I've been using it more and more for data analysis.
The other one, it's kind of relating to these, it's like an entry-level job is lead generation. So doing that research based on data and getting lead generation for the sales force.
So we've provided in your workbook, let me go to it. We have 2 documents that on the research that we did around the AI skills for the business and entrepreneurship pathway. There's a detailed, let me show you what it looks like, spreadsheet. Are you seeing
Yeah.
it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. I
Okay.
can.
So you can see that it's organized alphabetically by program. There's skill categories, what a simple description of how AI is being used for that skill, a work-related example. We've color-coded them as high, meaning that it's a skill that's asked for frequently and probably should be one that you're prioritizing in your program. And then we've given you an example of a prompt that can be used in course to teach and work on this particular skill. So I think it averages between the top 10, 11, 12 skills in each of the areas. So that is in there for you. Even though some of these things are low, I would keep them on your radar because, they may move from being a low. All of these, by the way, are the top skills that are showing up in job descriptions. So it's not that the low ones aren't necessarily important. It's just if you had to prioritize, definitely I would start with the high and then work my way down to the medium. Okay, let's go back to our presentation. Oops, wrong one. And then there's, it's a lot of data in there. So we have a quick reference guide that basically summarizes what's in this worksheet. And then it also takes this quick reference guide, the workflow of a typical workflow that, somebody in business and entrepreneurship would go through, sort of the life cycle of a business. And it talks about the AI skills that students and workers need depending on the phase of the life cycle. And that's in that quick reference guide. All right, we have another poll question. So what AI tools, systems, or skills do your employers that you're interacting with ask your students to have? You can type one of these numbers in, or you can actually type in a specific skill that they're asking for. Oops. Well, we're going to have to because we didn't change this one. This one's manufacturing. Sorry about that. So just answer the question and type in the chat. What specific AI tools, systems, or skills are your employers saying that they want your students to have?
Yeah, the new ad stuff for marketing is crazy. You can put your product in there and make a commercial. It's like,
Okay, this is great because we are getting into we are going to be getting into some of these skills and now so most of the around the communications and what was the other one? Sorry. Oh, ethical use. Okay. We're back to the core. These are the core 6 tools that can do a lot of, I would say I use these 90% of the time, even for data analysis and some specific tasks. So if all else fails, come back to these core 6 tools, except for Grammarly snuck in here. That's the first time I'm pretty sure you guys are all here to talk about or have used Grammarly at some point. That is a tool that's used a lot in business. And you saw perplexity went away. If you, from the previous slide, we had perplexity because it's used a lot in research. So that is really an academic tool. It's not used as much in business unless you have a role where you're doing a lot of research. Anything you want to say here, Rena?
no, I mean, that's pretty much what everybody's using, depending on what company they're in.
So these are sort of fundamental tools everybody kind of needs to know.
Yeah.
Then we have the discipline-specific ones, and some of these you may be using and very familiar with, others may be new to you, but we've gone through each of the disciplines and put those in here. By the way, these are in the G Drive folder for you as well, so don't worry about trying to copy this down or take a picture.
Yeah.
It's all in there for you.
And customer service or success is like, those are ones that like you use all day long, all of those.
Yes. Then in marketing and social media and human resources and general administration, I think a lot of us have used Otter AI, Canva. Maybe you want to talk about marketing and social media.
Yeah, so Canva, Adobe's not on here, but that's another one. Are to make those campaigns, and now it's actually including other things that from like Google's Veo 3, those video engines that can make ad campaigns and commercials and change the lighting and some of that sophisticated stuff, camera angles and all that. Those are coming in as well. But Canva kind of took over a lot of the things for companies. It's just easier to use and really fast, and it has just a better UI UX than Adobe. Although now they're combining forces and like each other's things. Some of it looks identical. So I'm noticing. So those are, and then also at HR, those things, Workday and like Bamboo, Calendly, those are all day long. So, and that's not just HR people, but all the employees will see that stuff as well. All of those.
And then for e-commerce, we have, well, for certainly Zapier and Shopify and Monday again are ones that you're probably very familiar with. Those are the big top systems that are being utilized.
Yeah, and then, you know, Asana for, or depending on if you're doing like software, then you'll use a different project management tool. But
and even though this says e-commerce, the word operations on the end means that people are sort of in operational modes or are also using these tools extensively. Even like we have people we've worked with that are using Asana for keeping track of their social media. So there's a lot of crossover between these systems. Yes, there are so many choices. These are changing all the time. And then there's a lot of integrations going on. So like Claude now is, integrated with a lot of these tools, Anthropic. So this is going to change.
I wanted to mention about in the chat. So about there is not really a standard. So every company that I've worked with uses different ones, but I think what we don't do as good of a job maybe in business programs. I haven't been teaching a business, but what is their role and what kind of tools are available? Like, a lot of people don't go in, including me, that didn't know there's like marketing, customer success, HR, sales, like how those all work together and the overall management. And then what kinds of tools in each of those areas you'll be using, like whether it's project management, whether it's going to be visual things, video, whether you need to know how to do social media campaigns, all of that, and finance. So it's not that we need to teach or get these tools at our schools necessarily, but what are they? And I really felt like underprepared when I went back in industry with all the new roles that are there and how they all work together. And I felt like we're not really talking about that enough. So that's my answer to your question.
Okay. So I think all of this is to basically reiterate what Rena just said, is that the goal here is to get students getting comfortable working alongside of AI systems, knowing that they're going to change. So it's not, like she said, learning a particular system, but just being comfortable enough to work with them. And the expectations of employers is back to that sort of which system discussion is, they're all going to have their own that they're using. So again, not necessarily learning a particular sort of software system or AI system, but still being able to work alongside them. And then I think the biggest thing is that we're really need students to be adaptive, ready to take on whatever tool that they're being asked to learn or utilize. Anything else you want to say, Rena? Because I think it basically reiterated what you just said.
Yeah, I think we got it.
I think we got it, yes. All right, so let's show you some tools in action. Are you ready, Rena?
Yeah, is that gonna play from there?
Yep, I'm gonna play it right now.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
Oops, hold on, I gotta enable it.
if not, I have one ready to go as well.
Yep.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, I don't know if you can make that any bigger, that screen maybe. There we go. Okay, so I made a little video of myself using Claude.
Should I go
And
back?
yeah, so I can read the
Okay.
top. So I just said, let's create an agent to answer questions about yoga products, including math information about yoga, etc. One of my favorite topics as I get older, trying to move around. And so it went through and explained what it was going to do so that I could go back and ask it, okay, also include this or that if I wanted to get specific. And then it started to give me some ideas on what it's going to be doing. And I also asked it to do some branding within that. And then because it came up with a plain thing that I didn't like. So it came up with my yoga assistant branded. And I wanted it to talk to you like you're interested in yoga. So I had, starting with namaste and then going through and you can ask questions about yoga. So it was very quick, an easy thing to do. And I just wanted to show this because it's a great way to build agents that can look like whatever you want, make sure it's accessible, easy to interface with. And that's what Claude does really well is makes they're called artifacts, but makes usable things that you can share with other people. You can code really easily. For those of you that are more advanced, you can also copy the code and you can put it in another application like GitHub or Netlify to perhaps share on a larger basis if you want to. But really for us in teaching, I'm pretty grateful that Claude lets you use their cloud and you just share it and send the link, and then you can put it into a course or share it with anybody. So I just found it really easy to use, and I make agents and artifacts all the time, interactive content for curriculum. I think also you can embed it in there as well. So any way that you want to use it. So that's what it did. So that's my agent. There's no special function other than when you use these, there's usually a button that you push to code. And they're called Canvas to be super confusing. So not the Canvas LLM that we use to teach with, but it's just called Canvas, meaning it's writing vibe coding for you.
Yeah, and then you can see in the upper corner is how she shared it. She just did published and it created this link. So if you actually want to go work with it, you can do that. All right, so now we have an example of this creating blog post content. Are you ready, Rena? And I'll play this one.
Okay, I'm gonna have to be ready. Okay, so this one I'll create, let's see, my top prompt up there on the top. Yeah, so let's go back to the beginning so I could read the top.
Oops.
Oops, sorry. I should do it from my screen, actually.
You want me to stop and you want to do it?
Yeah, let me share my agents from here. I think it's easier for me. I'll need to put it in presentation mode. Okay. I don't know if that shared the right thing. Maybe.
This is we wanted to show you a lot, so that's why we sort of pre-recorded them.
Yeah. It dumped my PowerPoint somewhere, so hold on a second. Huh, it turned off. Maybe I'll have you share it because it's not working on my Zoom for some reason. I can go ahead and turn yours back on, I think, Marcy.
Okay, so are you ready?
Sorry about that. Now go ahead and put yours back on. My PowerPoint just didn't share properly. That happens. Okay.
All right.
So I use Claude, and this time I'm creating an ad for sunglasses. And so I wanted it to create an ad, and I didn't really like what it first came out with, so I had a couple iterations, and then it talked about what it was going to do. And then it gave me the actual content so I can use it in the future. So prompts for each set of sunglasses that I was going to come out with. And this is based on a real company that my friend works at in LA, actually, called Gooder. And then so it created the SEO so I can get that higher up in the search content, and gave me a prompt for doing blogs, and then keep going there. Then the next slide is going to be the output of all.
Yeah.
So,
Why did you use Claude for this task, Rena?
So I wanted it to create an artifact that gave me something I could reuse. And I can just have it in my library and then go back and go, okay, I'm going to do another blog post. I can go back there and grab the all the content. So it's just something I just like the way it did it.
Okay, do you want to start with Sora or
Yeah.
Sora?
Let's start with Sora.
Are you ready?
So yeah, go ahead.
Elevate your summer style with classic aviators built from lightweight titanium. Premium polarized lenses wipe out 99% of glare, while 100% UV 400 protection keeps your eyes safe. The time.
So I made this would be like an idea of like a sunglasses thing, and an ad, and it does the sound and everything. And then you can go back and iterate and say, okay, well, I want plastic frames, and they're going to be pink and whatever, and then you can expand the video from there. So, so from that idea that came from Claude, then I went to Sora to start generating ad ideas, and then did the same thing in Veo 3. So play that one that's made by Google.
Featuring premium polarized lenses that eliminate 99% of glare. The lightweight titanium frame ensures all.
Let's see, does that what that look like? It seems like it's not moving.
It didn't play, did it?
It didn't play.
Let's go back.
I might have to go back to my, let's see.
Yeah.
It's in Veo 3.
Just doing the audio.
Yeah, it's just doing the audio for some reason. All right.
Do you have that one open?
Yeah, actually, I'll find it in my Veo 3, but or in my PowerPoint. So and I didn't really tell it too much other than I used the same prompt in both that came from Claude in order to generate these ads, and so they just
Okay,
work.
let me see if it'll play this time.
Featuring premium
There we
polarized
go.
lenses that eliminate 99% of glare. The lightweight titanium frame ensures all.
So that's the first idea. And what's cool about that one is it actually got like the filmer and the sunglass reflection. Like I thought about that. And you can tell to take it out. And so, yeah, I did use 3 AIs to do this, to answer the question in the chat. So I used Claude to kind of generate the prompts, and then I tested the ideas in Sora and Veo to see like if one of those tools was going to work. Now, my usual workflow is different because I'm a videographer. So we take go on a set or outside, get a work permit for the location, bring the crew, the lights, the sound, and the actors. We generate, we have all the practicing, we go out there and we do the production. So that's, this is a new way that and if you're paying attention, if you watch commercials in between like TV shows or something, you'll see some of these as inserts into the commercials already. I noticed some last night, in fact.
Yeah.
So they're being used. They might not be in totality, but might be part of an ad. So.
Okay, now we have ChatGPT. I can't remember what the use case is here. Do you? Well, let's click on it. We'll find out. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So this was an example. So this is one of my Canvas shells, and this is just generating information from ChatGPT right into Canvas. And then I just added a visual there as well from Midjourney. So just to show you how it looks, just copying and pasting, editing, the formatting and all that, it's gotten like 1,000 times better than when I first started. The formatting was terrible. Sometimes I have problems with the numbers, and I have to redo that in the accessibility part of Canvas or whatever. And I just asked it to generate, I forgot what the prompt was on the top, but to generate all of this content, and then give an example of a quiz. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Let's make a Canvas ready page for my accounting students, generate financial report using AI enhanced, whatever that was up there. It's went by kind of fast. So that's what it did. And then I took that and just put it into Canvas. So you can ask it for Canvas ready text, but also you can have it'll create a Canvas importable module or a course as well, which I didn't know it could do, but now it can do that.
All right, now we're going to show Copilot, and this is really for teaching students to do data analytics using AI. And so since I'm using Excel, the best tool for using with Excel is Copilot because it's a Microsoft product. So I basically put in a raw data file of example data for sales throughout the US. And I put in this prompt, analyze this sales data. That's all I asked it to do. And it generated a summary of key information by region, by sales agent. And the beautiful thing, I'm going to pause it right here. Let me go back. The beautiful thing about Copilot is that, and like all of our AI tools, is that it'll ask follow-up questions. Once you've asked it the initial question, which it gave me, see the top sales by region, when I asked it to analyze it, then it gave me these additional prompts that I just clicked on to get additional information. That was, how can we increase sales? Now, the other thing is it will actually create dashboards for you. So I've asked it's generating based on the data that it sees there. It's saying, gosh, maybe you want some visual monthly trends. And then I prompted it, give me a specific dashboard, and I'll show you what the dashboard looks like in a second that it created. I'm in chat mode right now in Copilot. Let me pause for a second. When you come up to, there's the dashboard that it generated. And so I asked it for monthly revenue trends, product category breakdown, and revenue by region, and it generated this for me. Now I'm going to go back and say I need it to reformat it to make it more presentable for to give to my supervisor. So it's going to create the same dashboard, but this time it's going to format it a little bit differently. And so we'll see what that looks like. And now it looks like this, which is, you can see that it put some summary, total revenue, transaction, and total units at the top. It formatted the data so it looks a little more presentable, but it still had the same dashboard. Now I'm going to show how you use Copilot to do specific functions within Excel. So let me stop, hold on. When you use Copilot up here, there's two options. There's the chat option, which I showed you the first time, and it does not change the Excel spreadsheet. All it does is answer questions or create formulas and things like that that you can use and cut and paste into your Excel file. And if it creates anything for you, it's always a download file that you have to then download and then open up to use. In the other option in Copilot is this data app. And in this case, it actually will manipulate your file. So it'll add columns, it'll add formulas. So that's what you're going to see now. And I've started off by, it's analyzed my data and it's suggesting some formula columns that I might want depending on the data that's in the spreadsheet. So this is it doing its work. It's going to suggest I clicked on suggest a formula column, and it gives me several suggestions, and then I go down and I pick the one I want, which was total sales value. And once I clicked on it, it actually added that column right directly into my spreadsheet. The other thing we use a lot are pivot tables, which are very complicated to set up. So that's one of the standard features in Copilot for Excel is if I click on generate a pivot table, it gives me again several types of examples of pivot tables that I think I might want depending on the data. I selected one and clicked on it, and it inserts the pivot table in an additional worksheet. If you click on the pivot table, you can see it's set up just like if you did manual pivot tables, and I could start adding in additional ways to analyze the data in that pivot table. So it's extremely, for those of you who use Excel a lot, and many of your students, especially those like in accounting and business operations, will probably use Excel extensively. It is a very powerful tool, Copilot in Excel. The other thing, as Rena mentioned in the beginning, many of us have Microsoft Copilot subscriptions through our institution, and it is one of the safest. What's nice about it is if you use it in the cloud, not on your desktop, but in the cloud, you don't have to worry about things like FERPA. You don't have to, it's because it's stored in your college's behind the firewall. So you can do a lot of different activities using Copilot in the cloud through your campus subscription. Definitely a tool that accounting students need to know. So what does this mean for colleges? Basically, we know that that AI is driving, especially in business and entrepreneurship, a lot of what's happening, and that students at all levels need to be prepared to work with these AI tools. Similar to our former question, how much are students currently learning about AI in your programs? If you would type this in the chat, that'd be great.
I just want to go back while we're doing that to the Microsoft versus Google thing. So most companies like do one or the other. So in school, we tend to have Microsoft, but in companies like Google Workspace or Microsoft, and even so that changes a lot of things, and that goes a little bit deeper too, like AWS, might be like the main platform that you're working on, might be something else. And so each company is different. So again, we can't teach everything, but the kind of the concepts of what they are, they do similar things. So those workspaces are different. And so that's why you have people in corporate learning different cloud environments, different workspace environments, and so forth.
Yeah, Google hasn't come out yet with a tool that works with their sheets. You just pull it into Gemini and you ask the questions I was just asking of in Copilot itself, but it doesn't have a lot of the functionalities that Copilot has for Excel yet. I say yet because
it reminds me like Google Meets versus like Teams, like, versus Zoom.
Yeah.
It is like the crown of everything. And then those other ones they're there, but they don't have all of those same functions.
Okay. Oops. I can't see the chat.
Oh yeah, it's 4s and 5s.
Okay, not surprising given the results from the first one, but we did for those who are 2s and 3s, or even some more ideas for 4s and 5s, we did put together a entire workbook. And I did see the note in the chat that my link I gave in the beginning didn't necessarily work, so I'll do that again. But in the workshop notebook, we have a whole guide on program learning outcomes, course level learning outcomes by each of your program areas that you can start to build into your programs to integrate AI. And here's some examples of a program level 1 and a course level 1. There are really 3 strategies to integrating AI. There's just infusing it. So Rena and I have this opinion that everybody doesn't need to go out and create full-blown AI programs. That really, it's a lot of those who worked on the sort of the green technology and the greening of jobs. We see the same thing for AI, that is it's a skill set that's being integrated throughout the existing roles and occupations that people have. And so, in some cases, you may just want to infuse a few components into a course. In other cases, you may want to keep it within your course, have some new dedicated modules. And then in other cases, you may need a brand new course because given the nature of the work that's being done with AI in that area, like for marketing, you may want a whole new 2-unit course that you put into as an elective or as a requirement into your program pathway.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wonder about that because there's a lot of all over the map right now. So there's new certificates in AI, there's degrees AI engineer or whatever, and then there's non-credit AI things. I mean, we're kind of all over the map everywhere, whether it's our colleges or universities or whatever. So I'm not sure how it's going to pan out because it's not it's mainly like in the CIS and computer science that it's folding in classes, but also in a lot of business courses. There's a lot of certificates now in AI. So, but yeah, I kind of agree. It's a tool that is used in almost everything.
And so we do have some AI integrated assignments that we have in there. And we did, like, if you wanted a single assignment and it's by discipline, just one simple assignment they would do that week. We have projects in there, and we've done full semester projects and portfolios. So there's a range of examples if you want to start integrating AI with your students that you can use. And then we also put together a universal assessment or rubric for how to, because when you start using AI integrated into assignments, you need to evaluate those assignments a little bit differently. So there's some unique features around, and if we have time, I really want to get into having them work. I can show you what that rubric looks like. And then we also have a planning workbook in there for, like I said, writing your program level outcomes, your course level outcomes, what tools and technologies. It's an entire workbook to work through your program for, together with your colleagues, on to figure out how to integrate AI into your programs. And it has a lot of example PLOs, SLOs, tools that you can use in your programs. So now we really want to focus the rest of this time on getting you using the tools or demoing something specifically you'd like to see and answering specific questions that you may have. Let's see if I can pull the chat open. Let me go to, I'm going to go to the work folder.
Oh yeah, that link, it's not working.
Yeah, so here is the link to the entire folder. That one should work. And this is what you're going to see when you get into the folder. I'll just go through the resources that are in there. So the first folder is for your use of AI. So it has that 5-minute quick start move, the power moves, and then this pathway specific AI applications. And then in the faculty the student use of AI has, oops, sorry. Oh, good, people are in here.
Good. Okay.
The student use one has the resources for students, and then the pathway integration one, that's where that skills matrix is, the quick reference guide, and this planning workbook. And this workbook is really long, so it would be useful if you're trying to plan a new program as well, to get program approval, because it walks you through all the steps of doing that. I'll just open it if you want to see it real quick. And it walks you through I'm going to go down, but as you get down to the bottom, it gives you all the PLOs. So it's a long document. I think it's like 50 pages long, but there's plenty of examples in here of things that you can integrate into your program. And then let's go back. The workshop deck is in here, and then some additional activities you can try. The business sales demo I just showed you, that file is in there. So shall we have them try something, Rena? We don't have questions.
I had an idea that while we're here, we could try to, and it's up to you, but I thought maybe we could try to do an agent in any of those areas. ChatGPT just came out with their new agent, and I can just share, and you can make a simple one. Let's see, I'll share my screen on there. So they have a new agent mode today that seems to work really good. And I just asked it, very important topic for me, create notices with Lego sets that become available from these following themes. And so it worked for a little while, and I can now have it do this like weekly or something. So it gives me a lot more information than I realized, like set number, pieces, prices. It's got all the links in there. So for everything that I asked for. So it went and did all this research. I think it took about maybe 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. But the agents is pretty great. So when you do a new chat and you hit the plus sign, you should see agent mode. And then it gives you a lot of this is new today. It gives you all these ideas to start with. Like you can do reports, actions. In fact, I'm going to definitely be doing these in my classes. Like these are amazing. It can make spreadsheets, presentations. It'll do a presentation for you. So, and then, yeah, so I think that might be a good thing to try, especially since it's new.
I uploaded a document into the chat. It says it's called Your Turn Activities You Can Try. Let me open it so you can see what it looks like. So it's color coded depending on, you know, the time you want to spend on it, and also how easy it is to do. So we have some quick wins, which are color coded green, and I've given several options and what tool you can use. So we have like using ChatGPT to generate discussion questions for the week, doing course announcements. And then as we get into the yellow, these take a little longer. But again, what tool you can use this would be to create an assignment rubric, creating a student success chatbot, and it gives you the exact prompts to use, a weekly email template. And then as you get into the reds, these take a little bit longer to do, more advanced. So the first one is creating like a business calculator tool using Claude. And there's a prompt. So that would be an app similar to what Rena just demonstrated. There's an option to create a video script in the storyboard using ChatGPT, an interactive case study analysis tool. So these are all creating sort of an application that you're going to be using in your course, or mostly in the red. So if you want to try one of these right now and open a tool, you can, or we can continue to demo some things for you and answer questions as well. We'd love if somebody would demo something or do something themselves and share what they've created.
Are we looking for volunteers to raise their hands? Drop a
would be-
note in the chat.
Yes, that would be great. Anybody want to volunteer? Either to try one of these or to ask us to demo something, or we can answer a question. Oh, good question.
Biomimicry. Are you talking about like a video or like text in a video or like a?
No, sorry, let me get on camera.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, Fatima Badiwala, totally interested in sustainable business for climate action. So my students, or rather my workshop attendees, are creating a product that is going to solve an issue, community issue, and the product is going to be inspired by my biomimicry. And I can use ChatGPT to help me saying, hey, I want to say, for example, create a pen. Which creature in nature can help my pen design? And ChatGPT does that. Now, how is there an AI app that I can get my students to use to actually like do a drawing of that pen, like that kind of explains it, a 3D kind of on paper?
Yeah, so one of them is there's an API in Google AI Studio where you can actually draw your stuff out and then it'll create a 3D rendering of it. So you have to go to Google AI Studio to find it though. And it does do the 3D stuff. And you can actually just draw and then you can take a picture of something, but I love it because you can draw your whole thing in there and then you can change it. And it's the only one I've seen that where it takes your drawing and then creates a rendering of it. and even with backgrounds and everything. So Google AI Studio. Yeah. So I like it for engineering stuff because like if I'm doing it's one of the things I design is like piping and stuff for biomedical. And so you can do all the joints and directions and fluid direction and all that and put arrows and all that. And that's really hard to draw anywhere. I could draw it by hand. And then I can put it in Google AI Studio, and then I could even prompt it to do this, in a medical background or whatever, and then it'll give me some design ideas. Because if I prompt in anything else like that, it's too complicated. It doesn't make sense to the AI if you just prompt in like OpenAI or something like that.
Because I do want students to use their hands to actually kind of draw it, and
Yeah.
then get AI help to kind of fine tune it a bit.
Absolutely. So it makes it look like from like my kindergarten sketching to professional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, look at it, Google AI Studio, and then we can also like email and stuff, and I can show you, where that is and how to use it. But that's one that I've been using. Yeah.
I would really, really appreciate it
Yeah,
because,
sure.
yeah, I've got offers to come do the workshop at different colleges, and I want to do as good a job of it as I can. So
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
thank you.
Oh, Jennifer.
I just put our emails in the chat, so feel free to follow up with any one of us. So, Sabrina, would you mind sharing what you did or talking about it?
Sure, no problem. So I just opened the document that you shared, and then I went into ChatGPT, and the course that I'm currently teaching is certificate in non-credit people management. And then I just copied the prompt in there for the discussion, and then it gave me the answers as far as the discipline and everything. And
What
then
did you think? Yeah, what did you think of the output you got?
I think it's great. And I agree. You just have to keep asking the right questions, prompting it correctly according to what you want it to, your standards for your course, the level of students that you're teaching and everything. I've been trying to incorporate it with my Canvas as well. So these prompts are really great. And I think it will help a lot of the faculty and educators improve their courses.
Great. Jennifer, you created something that you did your first Canvas page? Or you mind
Yeah.
sharing?
I created a Canvas page based on a really challenging concept that I teach in managerial accounting, and it did it in 2 seconds. It was amazing. I was shocked.
This past week, I was also using ChatGPT, Claude, tools to make accessible documents. So if you need it to be formatted in a way that has the proper headings and things like that, you can just prompt it to create an accessible version. One tip about asking large language models or these tools about accessibility, it interprets the word accessibility meaning user friendly. So sometimes you'll have to prompt it that you mean, accessibility in terms of people that may have vision limitations or hearing limitations, and then it'll do it properly. So if you ask it to create something accessible, just know that it may give you not what you want, but you have to be a little more specific about that. But it's a great tool. I've uploaded documents that I had that weren't accessible and asked them to recreate the entire document in accessible format, and it did it.
It defaulted to an accessible format. I was really impressed.
Did you specifically say you wanted it for a Canvas page for your learning management system?
Yes, I told it that it was an accounting professor teaching managerial accounting, and I gave it the topic, and I said to create a Canvas page, and in 2 seconds, it did a fantastic job.
Great. So they're getting better at knowing that we need accessible versions of things.
I made a little project for Judy really fast. It'll take 10 seconds.
What's that?
I can share that.
Share it.
Okay, here we go.
Los Angeles Regional Consortium is unlocking AI training for everyone, from ethics and machine learning to hands-on robotics and real-world projects powered by our community colleges. The Los Angeles Regional Consortium is unlocking AI training for everyone, from ethics.
See, there we go. Absolutely. And we've used it to generate some videos in the past, so it's awesome.
I mean, if you tell it what you're doing, it'll actually pretty quick, go and do the research. You can actually go say, here's a site with and use the branding colors and the font and whatever, you know, you want it to do and go from there.
That's awesome.
So fast.
Since we have a little bit of time left, I'll show you the video that Notebook LM creates. Let me share my screen.
Oh, great.
And we'll look at some of the audio too. So the audio is a podcast style, and it's typically a woman and a man talking to each other. So I'll play one of the audio files so you get a sense of what that's like.
This is the brief on classical and operant conditioning. Okay, so why should you care about these two? Well, understanding them is kind of key because they explain how we learn almost everything we do, you know, from automatic reflexes right up to the choices we make every day. All right, let's break it down. First big difference, it's how they work.
Okay, so the prompt, so you know what the prompt was that I gave that. Let's see, view custom prompt. I just said, create a audio file and focus on the differences between classical and operant conditioning and give real world examples. That's it. And it created this 5-minute podcast that goes into it. And you can tell it's sort of an informal podcast style conversation. Now let's look at a video. And it was that fast. Let me play the video.
Why do we flinch at a sound, but choose to work for a reward? Let's break it down. It all comes down to how we learn. Is it a gut reaction or a deliberate choice? Okay, first up, learning by association. This is simply when our brain links two things together. And advertisers? Oh, they are masters of this. Just think about a classic car ad. The whole goal is to get your brain to connect that good feeling directly to the car itself.
Okay, so in this case, the prompt I used, let's go back and close this, was this one. Easy prompt. I just said compare and contrast conditional and operant conditioning side by side. And that was the prompt I used. And I went into the video overview and I chose the whiteboard style, but you can see there's all these other styles. So you can just start playing with these different styles. And then I put that prompt down here. And I think I did this as an explainer video, which is a little bit longer than the brief. The brief, obviously, it says it's bite-sized, so it's only a couple minutes long. Both the audio and video files take anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes to generate. The reports are much faster, but there's some flashcards. Let me show you what a flashcard looks like. Oh, that's a quiz, sorry. Flashcard. These are what they look like your typical flashcard. The beautiful thing about Notebook LM is if a student was to click on this, it'll explain why that's the right answer over here in the chat. So this Notebook LM is an incredible, incredible tool.
All right. That was awesome, you guys. I always get really excited when we get into those creative tools and when those time saving and just like that accounting example, that's really rewarding. And so I'm glad if you learned something today, please type yes in the chat. So our next session will be December 5th for TK14 leaders, and it's titled Building AI Support. We've dropped the link to register in the chat, as well as the link to the AI Learning Library and the link to today's feedback form. So we would like to thank Raina and Marcy for sharing these wonderful tools and examples, and I'm really excited to try some of these out right away. So thank you, everyone, and we look forward to seeing you on December 5th.
Thanks, everybody. And if we don't talk to you before then, happy Thanksgiving week's coming up and enjoy your break from school.
Well, the only thing I would add, thank you everyone, is that at the end of the deck for the workshop, we have some free tools also, like if you want to take a course, we have some coupons for free resources for you as well.
And these will be linked in the description of the video once this professional development session is posted and the Lark AI Learning Library.
Thank you.
Have a good one, everyone.